Hello, Vikings. So you are going to start by opening the document. There are two ways that you can do this. This is an old one, but I'm just showing you how it will look on Teams. So you can either click exactly on the PowerPoint. You can tell it's a PowerPoint because it has that red circle with a P. And then up here, you're going to click where it says Start Slideshow. This will make it full screen for you. Or you can hit Escape. No, we're going to go through the whole thing apparently. So how's your day? Or you can, from the assignment, the actual assignment, you can click these three dots and then open in PowerPoint, and that will open it in the desktop app. Either way, this is what you're going to pop up with. If you've opened it in a desktop app, then you're going to click this little icon down here at the bottom, and that will make it full screen. So today we are going to apply what we already know about ancient Egypt to new images and describe daily life by creating, discussing, and answering questions. So your first round, you are going to make at least 3 observations. Remember, observations are things that you can see about each individual image or video. Then you will choose one observation that you have made and you will write it on your paper. So during round 1, you are looking at the image or watching the video and you are making observations. You're not writing anything yet. After you've made all of your observations, or your multiple observations, then you're going to write them down. So if I were observing this picture, I would say, I observe multiple pyramids, I observe a sphinx, I observe that the sphinx does not have a nose, I observe that the pyramid does not come to a point. All of these are things that we can see. And I'm going to choose one of those things and I'm going to write it down. And I'm going to choose the most obvious one. So the thing that I'm going to write down on my paper in this first box, or whichever box I'm on, is going to be I observe pyramids. Then, that means you're doing this for all 4 of your images. So it's actually 3 images in one video. So image 1 is ancient Egyptian temple. Image 2 is the ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses. Image 3, ancient Egyptian agriculture. And image 4 is actually a video of Tutankhamun, his tomb, and his treasures. But we will go over those a little bit in a moment. So after you have made your 4 observations, you are going to go to round 2 in your questions. For this, you will create at least 2 open-ended questions about each image. Choose one question and write it on your own paper. So you will now have 8 total boxes filled out. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go back to each image and you're going to not make an observation, but this time write a question. So the question I might ask about this image may be, what are the men carrying on their heads? Or what do those symbols mean? Or who are these people over off to this side? And I'm going to choose one of those questions, and that's what I'm going to write in a box that says questions for each specific image. Then round 3, remember I know I'm talking fast, so you can always pause the video. Then for round 3, you will try to answer the questions using what you already know and using context clues from the image or the video to answer your question. Then you will write your answers on your paper. So for this, the question that I might have asked would have been, what are these symbols on the walls? And then using my context clues and knowing what I know that people write important things, teachers hang important things from the walls, and in your bedroom at home, you probably hang out posters of things that you like or images of things that you like. So we could answer the question and we can make an educated guess that these images on the walls are reminders of important things of Egyptian culture. So by the end of this one, you will have 12 boxes filled out. So you have all of your observations, you have all of your questions, and you have discussed with your group and you have tried to answer all 4 of those questions that you've created. Then for the last round, you're going to make real-world connections between the images or the video and today's society. You'll write your connections on your paper, and then by the end of this, all of your boxes will be filled out. So I'm going to say something like, I grew up in Las Vegas, My real world connection is that there is a pyramid in Las Vegas that represents Egyptian life and Egyptian culture, sort of. So I'm making a real world connection based on the image that I see right here. Okay, so now you know what to do. Now let's go over what it is that you're doing. So here's our first image. We have the ancient Egyptian temple. You will see lots of different words and explanation of what all of these different areas are, and you will see all of these different things that happened. No, there was not actually a hole in the ancient Egyptian temple. This is an artist's rendering to show you what it looked like inside, because if we just saw the outside, then we wouldn't know what happened inside. So you are going to make your observation, and then you'll go to the next image and make your observation about this image. So these are some of, not all of, some of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. I say, you say, Amun. He was the king of the gods. Anubis. He was the god of embalming. Geb. He was the god of the earth. Horus. He was the god of the sky. Isis. She was the goddess of life. Osiris. He was the god of the dead. Ra. He was the god of the sun, and yes, you are right, we did talk about him last week. Good remembering. And Seth. He was the god of chaos. Awesome. So you are going to make an observation about this image. This image. Some of you may recognize it from last week, but this is an image about ancient Egyptian agriculture. We are not making inferences. We are not connecting to what we already know. We are just making observations. So what do you see? And you are writing one of those down on the back where it says image 3. There you go. And the last one, Tutankhamun, his tomb, his treasures. You're going to click on this link. This is why I need you to be in full screen for the PowerPoint, because if you're in full screen, you can just click and it goes. It'll open up YouTube in your whatever browser you have set for your browser. And as always, skip the ad because we don't get paid for them. The video will play. Shush. The video will play, and you are going to watch the video. And you'll make an observation, or make a few observations and write down one observation based on that video. Okay? Then you'll go back, and using your fingers and the arrows on the keyboard, you're going to go back to image number 1. Now you're going to write a question. And you're going to go through all 4 images again. Question for each of them. Then you're going to go back a third time, and you're going to write, or you're going to discuss with your group, and you're going to try to answer the questions. And then finally, your last time around, you're going to go back through the images one last time and make a real world connection between everything you already have on here and the world that we know today, or even your personal world. As always, if you have questions, ask me or Miss Dodge. Be good people, make good choices, and go Vikings.